What should you do with your 401k when you retire? Should you leave it there or should you move it to an IRA? That's what we're going to discuss today. This is one of the questions that we get very often, and with our clients, this is something that we look to take advantage of for the majority of the people we work with. And so the thing that we're going to talk about today is called an in-service withdrawal. This is the opportunity you have to move your 401k starting at age 59 and a half. Even if you're still working, you can move your 401k to an IRA while you're still working and contributing to your 401k. So a lot of people think, well, if I do this, I'm not going to get the company match. Well, no, you can still move the balance, and then anything you contribute to ongoing will still go into your 401k. And then when you retire, you could just move the rest over to your IRA and continue planning for the retirement. So why would you do this in-service withdrawal? There's several videos, and we just posted a video on this. You can go check it out there. And we talked about why should you move your 401k after you retire. So now we're going to talk about why you should do it while you are working. And the reason why is to ultimately get a head start on your retirement plan. There's no better time to start today. I've never had someone come to me and say, man, Joe, I wish we would have started planning later. They always say, I wish I would have started planning earlier. So it's never too late to start planning is ultimately what we're talking about here. So the reasons why you should move it is, number one, is you're going to have more investment options in an IRA versus a 401k. 401ks typically only have about 5 to 20 investment options there. In an IRA, you're going to have unlimited options. You're going to have a multitude of options. And although a 401k does typically cover most risk tolerances, which means conservative options and also more aggressive options and anywhere in between, they may not necessarily best fit you for retirement. We often explain a 401k is more for the accumulation going up the mountain. It's not so much made for the retirement distribution planning in order to do income planning to make sure you're not taking on too much risk while still getting enough return to keep up with inflation. Whereas in an IRA, you're going to have more options to be able to look to see, hey, is this going to be best for you? The other consideration is in the 401k, you have limited investment options, right? But even more so, you may not have different companies to choose from. If you have a Fidelity 401k, they may only say, hey, here's Fidelity funds, or a Vanguard 401k, here's only Vanguard funds. On the open market, you can pick from a multitude of different funds, individual stocks, bonds, you name it, you have way more options in that side of the land there. So that's one difference there. Another reason why people would move their 401k to an IRA is simply to basically have more access to professional advice. So if you move your 401k to an IRA, you now have something that you can compensate an investment advisor or a financial planner to start managing that investment for you. And that's going to help you pick which investments should be best for you. But also, it's going to help you decide, hey, I need help with financial planning. I need help with what we consider the 5 pillars. And then one of those pillars is investment management. That's important, picking what to invest in. But what about the other 4? What about tax planning, which is what we're going to talk about next? What about income planning? How do I get income in retirement now that I'm no longer working and have an income coming in? What about healthcare planning? What am I going to do when I turn 65 when it's time to decide what to do for Medicare? What am I going to do if I have a long-term care event in the future? And then that 5th pillar is estate planning. What are we going to do when we pass away? Do we have the correct documents in place? Do we know if one spouse passes, the other is going to be taken care of? And so that's what we talk about when having a comprehensive retirement plan, is focusing on the 5 pillars. Working with a financial planner is going to be able to guide you with all of that. Moving your 401k to an IRA is a way that they can get compensated to do all of that planning for you while still managing the investments for you. The third point that I really want to emphasize here is that ability to do what we call is a Roth conversion. And this is one of the more popular tax planning strategies that we're seeing right now. There's many others, but this is one of the more popular ones. And this is where you can move your 401k to an IRA and then move the IRA to a Roth. And when you move it from the IRA to the Roth, that's what's called a Roth conversion. So understand, with most 401ks, they're not going to allow you to do an in-service Roth conversion. You're not going to be able to do it while you have the 401k there. That's why you're going to have to do that in-service withdrawal to an IRA, then do a Roth conversion once it's at the IRA. So those are all the reasons why it could make sense to move it. So we always want to make sure that when we talk about financial planning, we're covering all areas of the pros and the cons, right? So those are obviously very great reasons and great pros, and that's why we typically do this. But why wouldn't you do this? What are the negatives of it? And one of the big concerns that we often see people say is because of the fees. And that's definitely a concern, right? You're not paying any fees for your 401k typically, or if you are, it's very minuscule, depending on where your 401k is held and how that's structured. Whereas if you move it over to an IRA, if you have someone manage that for you, there's going to be a management fee associated with that. If you're just a DIYer, well, then moving it from the 401k to an IRA, you may not have to worry about fees because there may be no fees either way. So in my eyes, if that's the case, I'd much rather have my money personally in an IRA versus a 401k if you're a DIY type persona there. And so that's what we often look at. My response to that, as being a biased financial planner who could make money off of a management fee off of a client, is, well, if there's value to be come with that fee, it's probably worthwhile, right? So Vanguard actually did a study on this, and they said that working with a financial advisor can actually add a 3% alpha, a 3% extra return on your money long term because of all the comprehensive help that they can give for you, right? So I'm a big believer that paying a management fee is probably worth it for the majority of people out there. They're just, if you don't do this every single day, there could be something you're missing. And if you make 1 or 2 or 3 mistakes over time, it could be very costly in your long-term returns and your retirement that you live down the road. So my biggest advice on that is don't let fees scare you unless they don't do comprehensive help. If they're just charging for investment management, I'd definitely be wary of investment advisors that are charging higher fees just to manage investments. So hope I've made that clear all video. Hopefully this video is helpful for you as you look to make this decision of what to do after 59 and a half, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.